So, mukha lang akong formal kasi kararating ko lang from the office, but I'm here in my bedroom, di ba, during this webinar, just like everybody else. So anyway, thank you for the introduction, Sir Sunny. Let me just introduce myself first. So hello to everyone. My name is Roland, and just like what Sir Sunny said, I have been working with him and Miss Wawi from way back 1999 when I was a fresh graduate, and we were all in SM. And that experience actually helped me to develop my skills, starting with training. And then after that, I left to do some HR work na. I consider as one of my mentors, si Miss Wawi. So, yung lahat ng kawirduhan ko, you probably should blame her for, for consenting to all my weirdness. But anyway, yeah. My background, so I have been in HR, total in HR for 21 years. This year is my 21st year. A good chunk of that, my first 8 years, my first 7 years was with training, and then I was with HR na, starting from after I left the training department of SM. So I stayed in HR. I moved from one company to another. My background is with different companies in retail, and then I was also with a multinational company for 2 years, and then now I am currently based in Cebu as a director for HR in Sun Pride Foods Inc. Now, the items that I will be sharing with you today are a combination of research, experience, and actual application. Now, I wouldn't be claiming to have monopoly of knowledge in engagement, but I find that these things na research ko and these things that I have experienced are very helpful in promoting engagement among our employees. So let me share with you my slides. Ngayon, medyo mabagal lang. Okay. So let's start off by talking about employee engagement. So employee engagement, as a definition, is the extent to which employees feel passionate about their jobs, are committed to the organization, and put discretionary effort into their work. What this is saying is that employee engagement sometimes gets misunderstood by HR practitioners, especially those who have very limited experience pa lang, or the ones who are green pa lang in HR, as just keeping employees happy. Now, engagement is actually going beyond that, because when an employee is engaged, it's when employees feel passionate about the things that they're doing to the point that they don't consider their job as a job pa. Personally, I would say that I was engaged, especially during my younger years, because it felt like it wasn't a job yung ginagawa ko. If you can imagine, when I was new, when I was with Miss Wawi and Sir Sunny, my first job was as a training assistant. I was a rank and file, and my job was basically to make sure that the rooms are ready for the senior ones, like sila Miss Wawi and Sir Sunny, for them to be able to run their training programs. And given that very mundane job, I never really felt like it was a job. I started at the office. I was there before 10 o'clock, and I sometimes leave office ng 8 o'clock na, 9 o'clock na. But I didn't feel tired. I didn't notice na napapagod na pala ako because I was so engaged with the kind of job that I was doing. Now, that said, it's very important for HR practitioners to have a grasp of the difference between employee satisfaction and employee engagement. So when we say employee satisfaction, it indicates how happy or content your employees are. It does not address their level of motivation, involvement, or emotional commitment. And for some employees, being satisfied means collecting a paycheck while doing as little work as possible. Basically, when an employee is satisfied, that's one of the indicators. They don't want to go the extra mile. They're just okay with, yeah, gagawin ko na lang to because I get paid for this anyway. Diba? There's no motivation, there's no involvement, no emotional commitment ng employee. Now, as opposed to an employee who is engaged, employee engagement kasi means it goes beyond activities, games, and events. So from our HR work, it goes beyond that. Diba? Because it's supposed to drive performance, and we have to recognize that engaged employees look at the whole of the company and understand their purpose, where and how they fit in. Now, relating this to concepts in training. So for those of you who have background in training, there's what we call the training cycle, diba? The different phases of training. And it tells us na if, for example, after your training program and the employees would say, I like training because of the games, then that's already a red flag. They like the training, meaning they are satisfied with the training. However, the learning is not really there because they're not able to apply that into their jobs, and you actually see improvement in their performance. So the same way with engagement or employee engagement, sometimes it's good to have these fun things, the games, the activities, but then it goes back to, is this actually promoting the employee's level of motivation to do beyond their jobs? So um that's the key, di ba? To first understanding the difference between satisfying an employee and engaging them. Now, in the times of COVID, both satisfaction and engagement can be a little difficult. So it's important for us to ask the questions. We're paying the employees their salaries, at least the ones who are reporting from work. For those who are capable, we provide them with shuttle services. We house them in hotels. And our employees are still enjoying at least some of their benefits. They still have jobs when others are losing theirs. But our employees, are they still engaged? Diba? It's natural for people to feel disengaged, not just with the company, but with their lives, with the world, because of the negative effects of COVID. Now, let's look at the different factors which bring down employee engagement. First, it's how effectively their company is responding to the pandemic. One of the things that bring employee engagement up is employees feel like they're part of a good company. Now, it goes down if they feel like their company is, number one, either neglecting their employees, or the company is not responding well to the pandemic. Meaning, either the company is being very stoic, meaning wala siya talagang ginagawa, like deadma lang, just waiting it out, hoping that this will go away and we can all go back to normal. Or the company is doing something that is completely against the value set of the employee. Like, for example, the employer is becoming increasingly aggressive, meaning bawas dito, bawas dyan, tanggal dito, tanggal dyan. Or for example, if they are doing programs which their employees feel like, no, this is not right, hindi na tama to, I don't want to be a part of this company anymore. Now, on the other end, it's not just the way the company is responding. It's also how their manager is responding to the pandemic. Now, this is one of the things that we as HR have to look into, because sometimes we do our effort as much as we can because we are representing the company. But then sometimes we forget that maybe the managers are not relaying the same message and projecting the same image that we are doing. And that brings employee engagement down. The other part, the other factor is fear about job security. So fear about job security, because obviously they know that there are negative economic impacts to the company. So they are now afraid na, will I be experiencing a pay cut? Will I be losing my job tomorrow? So that really brings it, that's a major factor that brings down employee engagement. And the shared sentiment with family and friends. Sometimes, even if we take care of our employees and we try our best to keep them engaged, they have family and friends who are very close to them who are not being taken care of by their companies, and therefore shared sentiments sila na they also feel down, they also feel disengaged, di ba? There's this saying na misery loves company, and COVID brings a lot of misery, so it compounds the problem. Also, they're scared of the changes in the way they're doing their job, especially if these aren't properly explained to them. For example, we go into alternative working arrangements. Like kunyari, yung 3 days a week lang na pasok, or for example, we will tell them, okay, you won't be doing this job, you will be doing another job instead, or you will be reporting to this branch instead of that branch that you were originally reporting to. Diba? If it's not properly explained to them, then they end up confused. When they end up confused, they feel like they're not giving their best, and therefore their engagement also goes down. And lastly, how the new normal will affect work-life balance. Now, this is also something which is a blind spot for a lot of HR people. Some of us are working from home, di ba? Now, the concept of working from home is actually alien to a lot of Filipino companies. Now, the good thing with BPOs and multinationals is that they have counterparts outside of the country, which means they're very used to, okay, hindi mo na ako papasok ngayon because I have a conference call later at this time with my counterpart in the US or in the UK. Diba? So it's normal for them to work at home. Now, for most Filipinos, most Filipino companies, this is not the norm. Therefore, the new normal is something that's very alien to them. And dito ngayon nabublur yung the line between work and life. Kasi if you can imagine, if you're working in the office, yeah, you're thinking about your son or your daughter sa bahay, you're thinking about the bills sa bahay, or yeah, maglilinis pa ako, magluluto pa ako. But then when you're working from home, then there's no more work and life na separate. They're all together. How many times have we experienced na kunyari ganito, meron tayong conference call, meron tayong Skype meeting or Zoom meeting, and then kahit yung alaga mong aso or pusa, bigla na lang dadating dyan, naglalambing, o yung anak mo, o bigla na lang may bumabagsak, di ba? To the audience, it seems funny. But in reality, to the person who is affected by it brings down the spirit. Kasi ano ba yan? The pressure of balancing my work and my life is now extra difficult. Okay? Now, that said, a lot of employees become disengaged now. So one of the things that we can do as HR is to listen to the employees' concerns and ask them actively. Various studies have found that social support increases our resilience and ability to cope. Listening to your employees is one effective way to make them feel supported and learn what they need. Meaning, as HR people, it won't hurt if every once in a while we send out a simple text to our employees. Kumusta ka na? How are you? Diba? Just to check up on them. Diba? Just so that they would see that the company really cares for them to touch bases during this difficult time. The other is to provide employees an opportunity to voice their questions and concerns. This can be done through team meetings, department-level discussions, virtual chats, or town halls. Now, this is especially touchy for people that were put on forced leave. Diba? Because they're on forced leave, they're already out of touch na. Diba? Or sometimes if they work from home, they don't see what's happening in the office, they feel out of touch or out of the loop as well. So providing channels for them to voice their questions and concerns is something that can be very helpful. For example, most HR departments may have a department phone, di ba? Yung phone na ginagamit ng lahat. Will it be possible for you to have a hotline ng HR where employees can send whatever concerns or issues nila just in that one hotline number and they know na merong sasagot? Or for example, if you have a Facebook page, diba? Have someone from the team, someone working from home, for example, to constantly man your communication channel para regularly nasasagot yung mga employees. And then, there are also those department-level discussions, virtual chats, or town halls. Now, for those who are not familiar, when we say town hall, it's basically gathering all the employees para one time, big time, makausap sila ng someone important in the company, like the president or the head of HR. Diba? It can be also micro town halls, meaning it's department level lang. The manager will have a meeting, a weekly meeting, for example, with his or her team, just so they know what are the concerns of the employees. Now, this is important because it emphasizes the need for communication. Now, we need to communicate with them on a regular basis. Providing employees with regular updates on everything from the basics to the big picture can help employees feel informed, empowered, and grounded. What does it mean? Babalik tayo dun sa proactively communicating. You need to have regular updates. Now, to give you a visual, if you can imagine, di ba, meron tayong nakukuhang text from NDRRMC, di ba, especially during calamities. To some of us, it's a joke na, ayun ba yan, walang, buti na lang si government nagte-text sa akin. But for some people, that's very important because they know what's happening because they don't have any contact with anyone else. If you can imagine putting HR in that position, just sending employees update, like for example, we have X number of employees na who are starting to report from work. It's gradually increasing. So hold on lang. Your turn will come. You will be invited back in. Those words of encouragement. Or for example, how the business is faring. Our sales are gradually going up. That means soon we will be able to resume operations. You know, those kind of things just to assure employees that they are still in the loop na alam pa rin nila. And also, when you prepare your communications, make sure that your messages are clear, transparent, and to the point. Diba? It could be just me, but I find na if, for example, there's a group chat and then somebody just keeps forwarding quote-unquote inspirational messages or yung mga scriptures or quotes, di ba? I find na it's very impersonal and it doesn't really deliver the goods. Di ba? Kasi ang tendency, if everybody keeps forwarding generic messages, people tend to tune out. So that means the essence of the message gets lost na. So it might be good if you have regular, clear, transparent communication to the employees. Diba? That way, they don't feel that it's something that's generic. It's not something that you just Googled and then just send it out to everyone. Masabi lang. Diba? Now, since we mentioned communication earlier as a group, now town halls are very effective in releasing communication to the largest amount of people as possible. Now, because of COVID, it's impossible, of course, to have physical town halls, so we do virtual town halls. Now, these are just some tips on how to effectively have virtual town halls. So number one, like we said kanina, be sure to keep your messages clear, transparent, and to the point. Now, set a convenient time for everyone. This is something that's important if, for example, you are working with a company which operates on multiple time zones. Diba? So if it's an MNC. If it's a local company naman, make sure naman that you are considerate on the time. Not too early in the morning or not in the middle of the night. Diba? Something that's convenient for everyone. Like for example, do we want to have town hall ng around lunchtime? Probably not because the people na nandun sa bahay are busy preparing lunch or baka naguhugas na ng pinggan, di ba? So let's put it at the time which will be convenient for the public. And then send an engaging invitation and pre-event details ahead, such as dial-in instructions, agenda, and ways to raise questions. Now, one of the things that we did in my company is that we had very attractive ads for our digital town hall. Diba? Good for us kasi we have a couple of employees who are very good looking. Ginawa namin silang models and then they were the ones na yung faces nila were the faces of the town hall. So that we had a lot of attendees. So you can do something like that. Okay? And then, this is a professional tip. Use appropriate technology and be sure to do test runs before the actual event. Diba? Para you are sure na there will be no glitches, there will be no problems once you go live. Kumbaga, if this is a play, this is your dress rehearsal. Okay? Other best practices include, it would be nice to have icebreakers ready, diba? To keep everybody entertain kapag meron ka mga dull moments, and keep your audience engaged with tactics like opinion polls or Q&A portions, which usually happen at the end. And consider letting participants send their questions in advance to better manage time. Now, one of the things na difficult sa town hall is merong mga repetitive questions. So if employees can send their questions ahead, you'd be better managing your time because you'd be able to consolidate the similar questions na and then just have one answer for it. And then if applicable, have presentation decks prepared ahead for distribution after the meeting. Okay? Now, going back to engagement, we mentioned about, we take care of our employees, but sometimes we forget the leaders. So don't forget the leaders. Recognize as well that some supervisors and managers may not know how to support their employees right now. Ensure that they too have the information, resources, skills, and support. Diba? Dito papasok yung helping them becoming better managers and supervisors in the new normal. We in HR, the company looks at us, the employees look at us as the experts in dealing with people. Therefore, the managers and supervisors, they rely on us to provide them with the skills on how to properly deal with people. So it would be best if tayo mismo, we equip ourselves with knowledge and tips on how to do these things, and then we cascade to our leaders so that it gets translated down the line. Okay? Now, why are employees disengaged? And what will support their engagement? Employees want support for their financial, physical, and psychological well-being during this health crisis. Okay? Let's start by focusing on mental health and well-being. Number one, let's allow remote working if possible, as much as possible. Because, as was mentioned kanina during one of the questions, there might be employees who are actually scared to go out for fear of infection. Diba? Reviewing the job description is one thing, but also reviewing the way the company is operating and trying to think outside the box on alternatives so that employees don't have to physically report to the office would be very helpful in enhancing or improving the mental health and well-being of the employees. Also, providing updated and appropriate information on health and safety, such as clear guidelines on what employees should do if they get sick. I don't know if it's happening as well in NCR, but here in Cebu kasi, the local government units are requiring the companies to have a work alternative health protocol for the new normal. So one of the things that we did is we really set up protocols for entry and exit to the premises, testing, quarantine, and what if there's an infection, and what if we get shut down because of an infection. So having something like that, having a structure to it, and relaying that information to the employees will help them calm down, diba? Will help them be mentally healthy because they know that the company, or at least the leaders of the company, especially HR, is on top of everything. And then ensure that employees are getting the mental health support they need to cope with the stresses. There's already a DOLE requirement for mental health programs to be present in the company. So now is the time to kick them off and actually apply them. Now, to help employees alleviate mental health issues, discourage them getting into unhealthy work routines. Meaning, ang nangyayari kasi, there is the repetitiveness na. Okay, lagi tayong may meeting every day at 3 o'clock. So it becomes a routine. Or the deadlines are always the same. This is where the idea of being flexible happens. Give the employees the chance to be measured in terms of their output instead of their clock in and clock out. Diba? For example, when you say output-based, for example, there's a particular set of transactions that the employee is supposed to complete. Then just give them a deadline. Etong lahat ng transactions na to, ito lahat ng projects and assignments na to, that has to be completed, let's say, by Friday. So yung employee has the flexibility na if I'm not a morning person, I'll work at it, later this afternoon, kahit mapuyat pa ako, okay lang. Or, I'm not a night person, I'm a morning person, so I'd rather do it very early in the morning para marami pa akong magawa sa bahay. Diba? Discourage unhealthy work routines by keeping employees locked into a particular time block. And then provide only legitimate and verified information from reputable sources. Again, this goes back to clear and updated information. Because sometimes the problem with HR people is that we ourselves are not responsible in checking the sources of the information that we get. Kasi may nag-share sa Facebook, i-share ko kaagad. Or kasi may nabasa ako sa whatever website, and without verifying it, sharing it. HR people, we have to be conscious of which sites are reliable or not. There are a lot of unreliable sites. There are a lot of satire sites, di ba, which pass their information as legitimate and true. Kaya wag kayo agad maniniwala. Make sure that you check it before you share it to your employees. And then provide safe and appropriate social activities. So I guess this is the reason why a lot of you joined this webinar, for you to get an idea, ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin, di ba, na pampasaya sa mga employees natin. So I'll share with you some practices and some of the stuff that we've done. So let's start with digital rewards and recognition. So, di ba, we all know na giving positive reinforcement is always better than punishment. Diba? One of the things that I learned from one of my former bosses is that, kasi I'm very, because of my upbringing professionally, I'm very conscious about punishing employees. This is the code of conduct. Ito dapat ang parusa dyan. Nag-violate ka nito, you have to be suspended or written warning. And then, there was this light bulb moment when my boss told me, what do you want the company to be? Do you want us to have a culture of punishment or a culture of reward? And that got me thinking, di ba? Positive reinforcement actually brings in more positive results than negative reinforcement. So therefore, especially in this difficult time, it's going to be very helpful for us to have a lot of positive reinforcement. Like, for example, employee of the week or the month based on your company's new normal. For example, going back dun sa sinabi ko kanina about being output-driven. Diba? Etong project na to dapat matapos by the end of the week. So kapag natapos niya, then recognize the employee. If you have a Facebook page, diba? Doon nyo i-post yung picture ng employee. Diba? Employee of the week, ganyan. Because so-and-so or Miss Wawi Roque has completed her project in time. Even during difficult times because of COVID. So that kind of thing, that small pat on the back is actually going to be very helpful. Diba? And then, this one I like, a gratitude program. Now, yung employee of the month or employee of the week is for the big success. Diba? But sometimes it also helps to celebrate the small successes. A gratitude program, which I learned from my previous company, and I'm applying now in my current company, is letting employees have a channel to express their gratitude to someone that they are thankful for. So it could be someone who helped them finish an assignment or finish a project, or someone who covered up for them when they were having difficulties. Okay? Basically, the idea is, kunyari, let's say, nagpatulong ako dito sa taong to finish. And then, dahil tinulungan niya ako, bibigyan ko siya ng card. Now, the original application of this is a physical card, but because it's now COVID, we can do e-cards or digital cards. Like example, this is the actual card that we're using in my current company. So since my company is in Cebu, so the company is Bisaya, so and the name of our company is Sun Pride. So this card is given to anyone that you feel like, I'm proud of you. You give the pride to Sun Pride. Diba? So you can do something like this and then just share it to employees for the small things. Diba? And this encourages a culture of gratitude and a positive work culture. Therefore, improving employee engagement. Now, the other options is to have practical or fun webinars such as Wi-Fi troubleshooting, cooking show, MTV cribs, or quarantine hair or makeup tutorials. So example, if you can have webinars, diba, conducted by your own employees, for example, someone from IT will do a seminar on Wi-Fi troubleshooting, which is a common problem now, or kung meron kayong employee na, yeah, si ganito, magaling siya maggawa ng sinigang, or like in this example, pork siomai, mag-cooking show siya kung paano niyo yung ginagawa yung siomai niya. Now, MTV Cribs naman, for those like me who were into MTV very much in the 90s, MTV Cribs is basically featuring the house of a celebrity. Pero this time, it's the house of the employee. So, kunyari, I'm the featured employee, I'll take my webcam, di ba, and go around, hi, this is my bedroom, and then this is my kitchen, di ba, just to show the life of the employee outside of the office. And the other one, which is also very popular now, hair and makeup tutorials. But this is done by your employees for your employees. Diba? So these fun webinars will encourage people to stay connected and they see na, yeah, there are still positive things despite the difficulties of COVID. And I'm down to my last slide. You can have virtual games like an Excel art contest. Now, syempre, there are creative people. So we don't want to use Photoshop, we don't want to use MS Paint, di ba? Or photography contest. But this time, using Excel, you want them to create art. So kunyari, okay, for this week, we have an Excel art contest. All entries, please submit to HR by the end of the week, and we will announce the winners by Monday. Di ba? Simple things like that. Di ba? To get people's mind off of the negativity of COVID. Or, pwede ring corny jokes contest. Uso ang TikTok ngayon, di ba? Mag-video sila ng sarili nila telling a corny joke. And then, you share it with the employees and the employees will vote kung sino yung pinaka-corny. Di ba? That will get some laughs from your employees and therefore getting morale up. You can also have DigiBingo. There are a lot of apps already available for virtual bingo. Pwede nyo gawin yan. And you can just have small prizes. In our company right now, we have 4 different work arrangements kasi. We have employees who are work from home. We have employees na yung mga forced leave namin. And then we have employees na labas-pasok pa din sa office. And we even have employees na naka-stay in na. Meaning halos doon na sila nakatira talaga sa loob ng planta namin. Diba? And we do bingo for them. And you know what, ang prices namin, simple things like yung dun sa mga stay-in, nagpa-price ako dun ng mga yung mga champurado mix or yung mga cookies na nabibili sa SNR. Kasi those are the things na hindi na nila ma-access ngayon because of the current situation. Diba? Little things which they appreciate. And you can also do an online quiz bee. Now, there are also a lot of apps that you can use for online quiz bee. Now, to name a few, one of my favorites is an app called Kahoot. That's Kahoot. Kahoot is a quiz bee app wherein you can create the questions tapos everyone can join and then paunahan ng sagot. And then there are points. It's very exciting. It's very lively. I use it for my own trainings. I'm supposed to use it now, kaya lang we have some technical difficulties with the number of players na pwedeng sumali. Now, the other one is Trivia Maker. Ang difference ng dalawa, si Kahoot kasi, you answer real time and you see the results real time. Yung online quiz bee is basically just providing you with a platform where you can facilitate the quiz. Meaning, meron kang parang ipa-flash niya yung question, ipa-flash niya yung choices, and then the employees will answer. Ganun lang siya. You don't see kung tama or mali yung sagot nila compared to Kahoot. Now, those are the things na you can consider to virtually engage your employees. Okay, so that concludes my presentation for tonight. If you have any questions, now is the time to raise those. Diba? I'll pass over my controls na to Sir Sunny.